What's up, my friends? Welcome to the Health Breakdown, episode number 31, my friends. Excited to be here with you today. Again, where we take the videos, gain perspective, and ultimately try to optimize our health, our energy, and our longevity. And really just seeking truth, my friends. That's what we're here to do. Find out what's real, eliminate what's not, apply it to our lives, work through these dynamics, and ultimately, again, maximize our longevity, our energy, our performance, and optimize our health as well. So, my friends, today I have a good set of videos here. Actually, I have more than I normally do. But I think that you'll appreciate them here today, and hopefully they can bring you value where you can apply these pieces of info to your life, my friends. So let us get started.
Percent of how much you age is due to lifestyle, not genetics. And most people are cutting off 14 plus years off of their lifespan by making these 5 simple daily mistakes. Mistake number 1 is just being sedentary. One of the biggest predictors of how long you'll live is your cardiorespiratory fitness. Having a high level of fitness can add an extra 5 years of life plus an 80% reduced risk of dying from major diseases. Mistake number 2 is being deficient in key nutrients. Around 50 to 75% of Americans are magnesium deficient. Around 75% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D. Being deficient in both of these key nutrients increases your risk for all-cause mortality and also increases your risk of having mood disorders. Mistake number 3 is just not getting enough quality sleep. At minimum, you should be aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and you should also be tracking the quality of your sleep as well. This means ensuring that your latency, which is your time that it takes to go to sleep, your REM, and also your deep sleep, are all optimized so you're not only getting the right quantity of sleep, you're getting the right quality of sleep. Mistake number 4 is not lifting weights. Muscle is your longevity organ. It helps you keep functional as you age, and it also pumps out these things called myokines, which help you fight inflammation and disease. The crazy part? You lose 3 to 8% of muscle for every decade after 30, and this accelerates after the age of 60. It is much better to be the oldest person in the gym than the youngest person in the nursing home. And the final mistake is not being metabolically healthy. Not keeping your body at a healthy range and not maintaining lean muscle is doing harm to your hormones, energy, and your ability to live a long, functional life. When your blood sugar, your triglycerides, and inflammation markers are all out of whack, it means that your body is aging faster. Being metabolically healthy is not about being skinny, it's about having the numbers and the body composition to keep you young from the inside out. And I create a free guide that breaks down the exact...
All right, my friends. So again, a lot of what we talk about on a regular basis, you're going to see some redundancy today, but I appreciate that when it's coming from multiple aspects, multiple sources. And again, you know, we can know what one individual says, but when we hear it from a multitude of individuals saying the same things, then it should stand out. It should strike a chord. But again, this is super simple, my friends. Sedentary lifestyle isn't going to help you at all. Not getting the proper nutrition is not going to help anybody at all. The non-strength training dynamic, again, not going to help anybody at all. And being metabolically in shape, so to speak, that is going to be an advantage when it comes to longevity and when it comes to health. So our final one, the sleep, guys, we talk about it all the time. We got to hit these things, right? I call it, what we don't want to do is major in the minors, right? We want to major and focus on the things that actually have the most impact in our lives. And for the most part, that's going to be your sleep, your nutrition, your exercise, and getting out into the sun, nature, and reducing stress, right? For the most part, that's really where you gotta be good, right? You gotta get good at those things, and being consistent with them is crucial. So again, straightforward, very simple, but those things matter. And don't major in the minors. Don't think that something that is, again, minor to your health is something that, well, if I just really focus on it, make it something that I, spend a lot of time doing, then my health will be good. If you, again, major in the majors, right, with the things that actually matter, you get good at and you get consistent at, your health will also optimize and get to the level where you want it to be. So straightforward, super simple. Have some more here for you, my friends.
put their cell phone right next to their bed. Worst thing you can do. That radiation going right into your brain, disrupting your sleep. You could put it on airplane mode or move it far away from you so it drops that radiation stress. No matter what, night one, you're going to sleep better. Take my word for it.
I'm in the middle of a live, but I will talk with you shortly if that's cool. All right, dude. My friends, so this one here, again, this is a big one. I've known about this one for a while, but do not put your phone next to your head on, regular functionality when you sleep. Okay, that emission, that radiation is going to be harmful. It is going to be impactful. Put it on airplane mode. Okay, very simple, airplane mode, right? You know what it is? Well, airplane. Throw it on there. Okay, if you do keep it by your head at night. I know you want to wake up to the alarm. I got it. I understand. But make sure you are putting your phone on airplane mode when you sleep and also when you put it in your pocket. I understand that it can't be on airplane mode 24/7, 365. But, my friend, you really don't want your phone radiating your body and your reproductive organs at the end of the day. Also, the Apple dynamic where you should be a few centimeters away from actually putting this phone to your ear. So again, these are really important things to note. These do emit radiation. So you have to know that. We can't pretend that they don't. We can't pretend that this radiation isn't harmful. Again, you're not going to collapse and fall over with a 5-minute phone call, but over time, right, these things add up just as they do from a positive perspective with your health. Same thing with the negative perspective. So if you do put your phone on airplane mode or you don't, either one, don't plug it in next to your head at night. That is very important. And again, quick little clip, but I feel like a lot of people are doing this. This is something that I've known for a while. And so again, just clue into it, plug into it. Actually, don't do that, right? Disconnect yourself from plugging your phone in next to your head. Put it in a plug that's away from you. That's across the room. But if you don't plug your phone in to charge at night, that's fine. Put it on airplane mode and you can keep it by your head. All right. Yeah. Because we're gonna get into some of these dynamics here. So okay, this is good.
Exercise at least 30 minutes a day, have a decreased risk in 13 types of cancer.
Are those all metabolic cancers?
Correct. Likely, she also found that if people start to exercise after a cancer diagnosis, their survival rate increases. She found this in 3 cancers: breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer. You also have to remember, tumors have a blood supply. They're hungry. You need to cut off the blood supply. How do you do that? With natural killer cells. Well, how do you get the natural killer cells in there? It's via exercise. So exercise is medicine.
Yeah.
It's preventative medicine and it's curable medicine.
My friends, straightforward, right? The benefits of exercise. I like that exercise is medicine. I like that because I feel like, for me personally, medicine, the term medicine has a negative connotation at the end of the day, because when I think of medicine, I think of pharmaceuticals. However, we don't need to think of it like that. We can think of natural medicine, natural remedies, natural healing. And so your inputs equate to your outputs. And that is a very powerful statement when it comes to identifying the benefits of what exercise can do for an individual, right? Just from a health perspective, not even from the longevity perspective. But when it comes to cancer, eliminating cancer, reducing cancer, those kinds of things. So again, super important, my friends. Yeah, keep it going.
Exercise I see in people who live the longest is walking. Getting less than 4,000 steps a day is sedentary. It leads to poor mental health and is associated with an increased risk of all-cause mortality. Getting 6,000 steps is the bare minimum. You get a slight boost in brain function and it's associated with a 15% reduction in all-cause mortality. Getting 7,000 steps is where things get interesting. Your brain starts to work better like it's supposed to. Your energy starts to go up. It's associated with a 51% reduction in all-cause mortality. Getting 10,000 steps gives you more of the above, along with a 75% 45% reduction in cardiovascular disease, 50% lower risk of dementia, and 30% lower risk of getting cancer, while also having a slight fat loss benefit. And getting 12,000 to 15,000 steps is the upper limit of all the benefits. We see increased brain function with muscles and bones all strengthened, along with a 65% reduced risk in all-cause mortality, while also having the best fat loss benefit. Walking is one of the most underrated ways to be mentally and physically healthier, and I created a free guide on the walking protocol we use to help our
Amazing. Again, my friends, we're trying to focus on prolonging longevity, or doing the things, the actions, the habits, the routines, creating a lifestyle that involve activities that are going to prolong our longevity. And to me, if you had to pick one exercise, it would be walking for the human being, right? It's one of our most functional movements as a human being, is to walk. So those ratios, those numbers really correlate to a specific outcome, or those levels of steps correlate to specific outcomes within the body. And so if you're not walking for that level of step 6,000 minimum, which most of us should be, but again, sedentary lifestyles, a lot of sitting at the desk kind of a thing, really need to pay attention to that at the end of the day. But again, walking, my friend, is going to not only prolong longevity, but it's going to help you to optimize your health as well. So something as simple as walking, right? Doing it enough times is going to be beneficial. I think we know that, but it's, sometimes it's out of mind, out of sight, or out of sight, out of mind, however you say that. But I think that you guys understand the basics. Stick to the basics. Getting sunlight, moving around, right? It's not a magic pill. We're not looking for a concoction from a doctor or pharmaceutical company as medicine. We're looking towards medicine as things that we do that are most times free. Exercise is free. Yeah, gym membership, I get that. But, right, you don't have to go to a gym to exercise. You don't have to walk I should say you don't have to pay to walk. It's free. So again, my friends, really just get back to the basics. Simplicity. Simplicity should be synonymous with health, my friends. It is not complex. It is not easy, but it is simple at the end of the day. I like that one.
Miss, how young are you?
I'm 100 years old.
What do you do to stay so fit and look so great at your age?
I'm almost through.
Yeah, no problem. We'll wait.
1
3
mile.
miles.
I'm almost there.
How long did you just go for?
30 minutes, and then I'll do 30 more minutes. And I walk, do a mile.
Do you have maybe a secret to longevity you can give to the audience?
When I retired, I started walking 4 miles a day, and that is what keeps you going. A lot of exercise, plenty of sleep. I go to bed at 9:30 at night, and I eat a lot of vegetables and trying to keep healthy.
Would you say that you're rich?
I think I am.
You look it.
Yeah.
Can you tell me who you came to the gym with today?
My daughter brought me.
How young are you?
78.
78. Incredible. How do you think we are?
Oh, she's probably early 20s. You probably early 30s.
She's 31 and I'm 31 too.
See, I got you.
Thank you
Give
so
me a
much.
hug.
My friends, to me, right, like we're going to listen to a lot of people say a lot of things, give a lot of advice. And at the end of the day, we have to look at the results of what we're doing, right? Those actions, those habits must map to specific results. This lady, this individual, this woman is 100 years old. And one of her main focuses, as she mentioned, is movement, is walking 4 miles a day, right? And is, again, paying attention to her health through her diet, lots of vegetables. I like it. Hopefully throwing some fruits in there. But again, you have people who are, success leaves clues, right? If you want to be 100 years old, you want to look at the individuals that are living to 100 years old, and you want to understand what they're doing. You want to reverse engineer what it is that they're doing to produce that result. So again, it's nice for the 30-year-old or the 40-year-old to give some advice, but when you have a centenarian conveying how important and how she prioritizes exercise and movement, that just speaks volumes. That just speaks massive amounts. And again, I just think that that is an indicator that exercise and movement is vital to your longevity at the end of the day.
You are strong in your 40s and 50s. You will have a 2.5 times greater chance to live to 100. Just based on strength. The stronger you are, the more muscle mass you have, the greater your survivability. Furthermore, the more fat that becomes infiltrated into your skeletal muscle mass, the less likely you are to survive anything.
Again, my friends, we know that
You are strong.
We know that, right? Cardiorespiratory fitness measured by VO2 max and strength are the two strongest indicators to longevity. So again, exercise is medicine. And when you have two markers like that, to me, again, that just says so much. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we focused on? What really is the goal? Yep, sure. You want to look aesthetic. You want to look like you go to the gym. Great. But what is your strength and muscle? How does that translate? How does that cardiorespiratory fitness and ability, your ability to breathe in oxygen and use that oxygen? Well, those are major indicators towards longevity and those that are living in the north direction of 100. So again, super important, my friends. Consistency. I used to really look forward to exercising and lifting, and it used to be my main thing. That was the, that over everything. And over time, I lost some of that desire, but it doesn't mean that I've changed my actions, right? You don't have to live and die for exercise, right? But you should keep it enjoyable. You should keep it fun, because at the end of the day, the best workout that you can do is the one that you show up to, right? We can talk about, again, how awesome this programming is and the reps and the sets that we're going to do and the volume and the exercise and the running. But if you don't do it, if you don't show up to it, then none of that matters. So you have to keep your interest. You have to keep a level of desire and interest and intrigue when it comes to working out and exercising. So again, whatever that looks like for you, there's almost infinite ways to participate in exercise and movement. Literally, how deep you want to go on the ones that you love, or what you love, or what your goals are. Again, that's up to you. But do something, right? Do something on a regular basis. I personally like to hit that 120 to 150 minutes per week of that cardio, right? That zone 2 cardio every week. I like to hit 3 to 4 strength training sessions every week. I walk every day for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And I sprint at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And so I'm going at it, right? But I'm not debilitating myself. I'm also focused on recovery, right? It's not good enough to max out or to be a, I don't want to peak at 35. I don't want to peak at 40. That's where I'm at right now, 40. I don't want to peak in my level of exercise and movement and fitness at 40. So this is a long-term game, my friend. And just as important as exercise is, that recovery is just as important. So again, this is a balancing act. This is a long-term game. We're not in this for the short term. We're not in this to do a 30-day exercise challenge, right? This is a 60-year exercise challenge. This is a until I'm 85 exercise challenge, until I'm 100 years old. So again, hopefully that's just helpful in perspective, my friends, at the end of the day. All right.
that VO2 max is the single greatest predictor of lifespan of any measurable number we have, is quite remarkable. Why is that the case? The reason that that is the case is that VO2 max is a remarkable integrator of the work you have done to get fit. So if we're going to tally all the possible biomarkers that would predict how long you're going to live, we could look at your ApoB, we could look at whether you have diabetes or not, we could look at your testosterone level, your cholesterol level. I mean, we could look at every imaginable thing, how much muscle mass you have, what your BMI is, all of these things. And if we rank ordered them in terms of their ability to predict how long you're going to live, or stated another way, how well do they predict your ability, the probability you're going to die this year? The very, very top of that list is VO2 max, and directly under it is strength. Why? Because you can't fake.
Can't fake them. Right? You can't fake that. It's like you can't, I forget what this is categorized as, but very simply, my friends, you can't buy strength. You can't buy muscle. You can't inherit it. You can't stand next to your buddy and say, hey, I'd like to get some of that, that VO2 max level that you have. Hey, I'd like to, absorb some of your muscles. You can't do that. There's literally no way to fake any of that. And it comes straight from your work, right? What you did or what you didn't do. And again, my friends, continuing to repeat the same thing or touch upon it from many different aspects. But if you are struggling with your health in any way, shape, or form, and exercise is not something that you think about every day or that you do every day, and I'm not saying you need to deadlift 7 days out of the week, but if you're not moving or thinking or consciously thinking about your movement and exercise routine on a daily or weekly basis, you have to start, right? You start to plan this out. And again, if you don't know where to start, just start walking every day for 20 or 30 minutes and then build on that. It's about progression, right? At the end of the day. So develop a exercise routine, one that you love, one that's simple, one that's going to get you to show up and do it consistently. And again, if you're struggling with sleep as well, exercise, my friend. Exercise is key. So, all right, let's keep it going, my friends. Curious to know what your thoughts are as well. A lot of redundancy here today, but really want to highlight these points at the end of the day. So I'm going to bring in two here. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. This is my guy on sleep. I think he's awesome. But I know a lot of us are struggling with sleep at the end of the day.
There are probably two really simple things that you can do non-medication that are, if you look at the data, are almost guaranteed to improve your sleep, which is some form of physical activity most days, or at least several days a week. And the second is deal with your anxiety. Mm-hmm. Anxiety is the principal cause of insomnia. It's not the only cause. People who have a high fight or flight activation of their nervous system, they also have high levels of stress chemicals such as cortisol. And that seems to be very predictive of their insomnia. And if you can start to manage your anxiety, for example, meditation is a fantastic practice. People, when they are suffering from insomnia, if you put them into a meditation and mindful practice, you can actually drop the severity of the insomnia in a way that medications, such even prescription medications, can't come close to.
Mm-hmm. Friends, when we talk about anxiety or stress, we're really talking about the adrenal glands, making sure that they're strong and that they're able to handle that stress and deal with that anxiety. But again, the inputs that you can control and do that will help exercise, right? Meditation, prayer, grounding, walking, right? Spiritual practices, listening to scripture readings or Bible or, those kinds of things will also help in the anxiety dynamic. But, your nutrition at the end of the day is going to be vital as well when it comes to sleep, when it comes to fueling you up for exercise, and when it comes to dealing with stress, anxiety, and recouping from that, right? There's always going to be a healthy level of stress. I don't think the goal for any of us here is to say, I don't want any stress at all. I mean, maybe it is, but that's not real. That's not practical. So, okay, how do we power up? How do we strengthen up? How do we deal with it? How do we combat that? And again, diet, exercise, sleep, the trifecta, and sunlight, my friends. That's where you got to be. And if any of those are not strong for you, or you don't feel like they're one of the foundational pillars of your health, then it's time to pay attention to that. And it's time to focus on that. Keep it simple. This is simple, my friends. This is not complex. Again, the lion, or the bear, or the bird, or the fish, or the snake, or the ant, or the spider, they don't go to a medical school, right? They don't go get their doctorates to learn how to be healthy. It's natural, it's intuitive, it's instinctive, it's simple, right? It needs to be the same thing for us. We have to move. We are not created to be sedentary individuals. So again, my friends, it's all that working together. Pull up one more here from Matt, Dr. Matt. Dr. Matt's a good guy. And I appreciate your patience here today, my friends.
Sleep is the single most effective thing that we can do each day to reset the health of our brain and our body. Mm-hmm. Sleep could be seen as the Swiss Army knife of health. Whatever ailment that you're facing, sleep normally has a tool in the box that can help. And so for me, I think the Shangri-La is perhaps less about trying to elongate lifespan than it is really about prolonging people's health span. Mm-hmm. Because when you ask most people, that's what they really want when they're trying to sort of, live a clean, healthy lifestyle. They don't want a life with disease and sickness. Mm-hmm. But when you are starting to shortchange your brain and your body of sleep, that's what you're inviting. If you fight biology, normally you lose. And the way you know you've lost is disease and sickness.
Yeah. He's one of the first guys to me that really highlighted the health, the recovery and rest dynamic from the brain perspective, right? Neurological function, right? At the end of the day, super important for our health, my friends. So it's really the only time that your brain gets to shut down, recover, and restore itself. And I think sleep is like, it's boring, right? It's boring, but it's restorative. It's refreshing. It's rejuvenating. But I feel like most of us put it on the back burner, including myself. I don't want to go to sleep at night. Like, I have energy. I'm still kind of going. And it's all right. The day's over. No one really wants to do it. Nobody wants to prioritize it, but it is just so essential, my friends, at the end of the day. And these things play hand in hand. Exercise plays hand in hand with sleep. Nutrition plays hand in hand with sleep. And then they all play hand in hand together, right? So again, my friends, move, get sleep, eat well, and get out and get some sunlight. So pull two or three more here.
The most effective treatment that's ever been shown in treating the leading cause of death and disability, which is high blood pressure. It also reduces insulin resistance. It can enhance cognitive capacities, and you also see it affecting things like depression and anxiety. It's called fasting. And there's more. Fasting introduces not just a chance to lose weight, it also mobilizes visceral fat, which is the fat around the belly and the organs, which is giving off inflammatory products that's causing heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and many people are maintaining higher visceral fat than what they should be. So I've spent 40 years helping people get healthy, and I can tell you that I think you should be fasting every day.
So tell me about that then. But also, isn't the game here just to not eat as much?
Well, here's the problem. We live in a world designed to make you fat, sick, and miserable, where 76% of people are overweight or obese, and where people think that health comes from pills, potions, and powders. And yet most of us are ignorant of the proven health benefits of fasting. In fact, if you look at all the chemical changes that happen with exercise, they also happen with fasting. Things like increase in BDNF, a neurochemical protecting the brain from Alzheimer's disease.
And what about water fasting?
So people that have not been successful at resolving their conditions with medications, including patients with polycystic ovarian syndrome, have been profoundly affected by water fasting. And we'll go through fabulous research. But one thing you want to realize is that all human beings have the capacity to fast.
Okay, so let's run through the unique selling points versus any other diet or intervention.
Let's do it.
My friends, again, we're back to a simple, basic, fundamental practice of technically doing nothing. That's basically what fasting is it you're not doing anything. You're not consuming anything. You're not eating, you're not drinking, right? Or you can on a water fast. But you're abstaining. You're creating more with less. And especially now in 2025, that is really the main, prop. Less is more. What can I reduce? What can I eliminate? It's not necessarily give me something else. Give me another thing. I want another thing. I need all the 100,000 biohacks that we can do. No, you don't, right? Simplify, reduce, eliminate. Less is going to be more. So again, my friends, if you're not fasting regularly every day, I started fasting 15-ish years ago. And I really did it to get lean. That was really my main focus. I had zero interest in any health gain because I felt like I was pretty good at age 25. And it started off, the very first day was just different, right? But I was like, okay, the next day, that's when I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I am not changing this. And I haven't changed it for 15 plus years. So not only will it help you get lean if you optimize properly, but it's going to do a whole bunch of additional things. And again, the main benefit of fasting is to allow the body to clean and repair and heal itself and to promote elimination. But where we kind of get, I'll take that one step deeper, is where we get, again, what you're bringing into your body a lot of times is not going to be clean. So you're kind of adding dysfunction, you're adding toxicity, you're adding a heavy workload to the body, right? To break down that food. And so if your body is breaking down food constantly, yes, we are a big food processor. We are trying to convert that energy and nutrition into our bodies. But if that is all that we are doing, then we are going to be slowed down tremendously. And when you give your body a chance to say, I don't have to do any of that work right now, it'd be like, whatever, plowing a field, right? If that's what you're constantly doing, okay, that's a decent workload. Now, don't do that. Oh my gosh, I have all this free time. I have all this free energy. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do, right? So it allows the body to heal. And again, less is more, my friends. It's just amazing. It is amazing, the simplicity of health and how much we have overcomplicated it from, again, society's input, healthcare system input, what we've been taught, propaganda, all the things, when it's truly like none of that. Right? It's like eliminate 95% of everything and then you'll be spot on. Right? Simplicity is key, my friends. That was from Dr. Morse. That's a straight up Dr. Morse phrase, sentence, quote. And it just hit me hard because it was like that aha moment. Like, oh my gosh, it really is about that. So again, my friends, let's keep winning when it comes to our health. We're not looking for the newest development, the newest pill, the newest workout routine, the newest Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple, my friends. We are going to, we're going to pop over here, my friends.
Doctor in your room is your own body. If you listen to it, gee, when I eat this, my stomach doesn't feel good. When I had that, I get a headache. But most people don't connect the dots between what they eat and how they feel. Your body is a healing machine. Like, look what happened to me. I was in bed, couldn't walk. I was on a walker. I was emaciated. I was close to death. And when I put the right inputs in, my body healed. And it's amazing. I've had patients who are 65 with heart failure, diabetes, hypertension, kidneys failing, liver failing, who actually didn't take 10 days, but 3 months, they were off all their medications, they reversed all these conditions. Even at 65 or 66 years old, the body can do that.
My friends, there are more than ever, we are becoming aware of healing stories, like Dr. Mark Hyman's healing story. I didn't know about that before, right? But it's becoming prevalent. It's becoming more common. It's becoming spoken about, talked about. And for as many healing stories, healing journeys that I have seen, read, learned about, discovered, I literally don't know of one, at least one that I remember, one that's coming to my mind. I don't remember one that has the details of the healing journey being, I went to the doctor, he gave me some medicine, he told me diet doesn't matter, and I was healed. I don't know of any of those stories. I had a surgery, they removed my organ, they gave me this pharmaceutical. I don't know of any healing stories like that. And not only is that sad, frustrating, but that's shocking. Because if this, again, $1 trillion industry that we're putting money and finances and resources and energy and time and development into, yet there are no healing stories that I'm aware of that came from going down that path that we are recommended to follow and go down. And to me, that's because it is not about healing. This is about sick care management. It's about managing your symptoms. Well, I don't think people want to manage symptoms. I think they want to heal symptoms. I think they want to eliminate symptoms. It's about healing, my friends. And again, put in the right foods. This is why animals don't struggle with this dynamic. It's intuitive. What you eat is your life source. That's your energy source. If you're not able to eat the right food, or it's junk, not like processed food junk, but processed food junk, then how could you possibly expect to have the greatest outcome of energy and productivity and accomplishment? And right, how could you? You're putting a subpar energy source into your body. So, okay, got it. Sleep. We all sleep. We all have to sleep. All animals sleep. There's a reason for that. Okay, so we got to do that, and we do it every day, every night. 1/3 of our day is sleep. Okay, so that has to be important. And then the moving dynamic. Most animals, or a lot of animals, right? They're moving around constantly. And most of them are avoiding a predator or an attack or right? Like I think about the squirrel. I don't know why, but maybe because I see them a lot. Or even lizards. I see them a lot, right? They're constantly looking out for their life's sake. And so, that just seems to be a fundamental instinctive behavior, right? To sit around and to not do anything is so counterintuitive to who we are. We have life. We got blessed with life. So what are we going to do with it? Right? I'm going to try to honor the one that gave me life and not be a sloth, right? Not be lazy. So, okay, cool. Got it. Movement. Yeah, that's going to be good too. So, and getting out into nature, right? All the benefits that the trees and the light provide to us, the ground, the animals, the birds, the sounds. Okay, cool. So this is all extremely simple, my friends. Very, very, very simple. So if there's just anything that I could encourage or, provide value, I want you to trust that. I want you to trust your natural instincts. I want you to trust the fact that you are not supposed to be sick and unhealthy. That's not normal. That's not regular. That's not something we should be cool with or yeah, you know what? We're all just supposed to be sick. It just happens. That's not accurate, right? Yes, you can get sick. You can slow down in certain areas or aspects of life, but your body, naturopathy 101, the body is the healer. So you have to trust that. You have to believe in that, you know what? I actually believe that my body can heal itself if I give it the right set of circumstances or the right inputs. That seems reasonable. And what do animals do? What does your dog do if he's not feeling well? He fasts. He doesn't go over to the dog bowl and start shoving food in his mouth. He's not doing anything. He's resting. He's fasting, right? He's still going to move. Maybe not as fast, but it's simple, my friends. And I want you to trust that. I want you to believe in that. I want you to believe that you don't need to rely on somebody or something else to help you to be healthy and to help your body heal when it's broken or malfunctioning and sick, right? Because those are temporary terms. That's a temporary status. You don't identify, I'm sick. I'm a sick person. No, you're not. It's a state of being. It's a temporary set of circumstances or a temporary situation. And again, my friends, believe in that. Believe in that. And continue to dig, continue to do research. I don't want you to full out believe every word that comes out of my mouth. I really don't. I want you to ultimately trust what I'm saying because I'm a credible source, but dig deep, continue to doubt. That's okay. That's healthy. All right. So dig deep. Oh, what about exercise? Man, I'm seeing this muscle VO2 cardiorespiratory thing a lot. Okay, I'm seeing that sleep is helpful. I mean, I don't know how anybody could think that sleep is not helpful. So then what do we need to do to make sure that we're consistently getting good, deep, restful sleep? And it's not always what you do the moment you go to bed. It's what you've done the day of, right? And the days prior to that as well. So again, body is the healer, my friends. You need to understand, you need to connect yourself to what it's communicating to you, to what it's telling you. And then you need to work with that. You're the driver of your own car. Continue to do that, my friends. And believe, my friends. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. I believe I will be, speaking of belief, I believe I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to break down a lot of what went on with RFK and those meetings. A lot of content there from that. Like to dig deep and just provide that perspective around that whole dynamic, because that is really starting to shake up a lot of what's taking place here in Florida. We have banned or removed vaccine mandates, and I'm just going to clap it up. That is incredible. And so just want to get into that. Left out the vaccine stuff today. We'll bring that tomorrow or later this week. And again, my friends, I really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you shortly, my friends. Stay healthy. Love you guys.